You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 130, when a positive mindset is not enough. Because sometimes a little bit of a positivity boost is all we need to get us going. But a lot of times, especially for committed students, what is actually needed is something much more tactical and concrete. Because it does not matter how motivated we are. If we do not know what's actually been going wrong up until now, what's been holding us back, then we don't know what to do differently next time. And that uncertainty or doubt or frustration is not just going to go away, and it can't just be swept to the side and ignored. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey, VIPs, how are you doing? I hope things are going really well. As I record this, the weather here is just perfect. It's been cooling down overnight. All the humidity of the summer has gone, and we are back to sunny and fresh here on the Sunshine Coast. After about 2 weeks, I will say, of grey clouds, heavy rain, and just drizzle in between. So this dry weather and sunshine is especially good news for me, seeing as me and my husband still have a leaking roof in the so-called sunroom while we're still getting final plans ready to start our reno. But that is another story. And today I actually want to share a quick story with you that really got me thinking about the role of mindset for your teen as a student versus the actual strategy and practical aspects of study and assessment. And I do think we need both, but I think a lot of students are trying to use mindset or mental resilience or just conjuring up confidence and determination and motivation to help them move forwards, when actually what they really need at the root of things is a complete understanding of how assessment and study and exams work, and then the steps and the systems and the strategies to work with these things and have them work to their advantage. Because I was on a review call recently with a 10WGT student, and I'll change her name to Lara. She was on with her mum, and Lara's mum asked a really great question. She said when Lara had previously gotten a disappointing result in a task or an exam or an assessment, Lara would then find it really difficult to focus and not let it disrupt her progress and confidence in the next task that she really needed to be working on then. And she asked me if I had any tips to help her with her focus, or to sort of compartmentalize, I guess, these things to help Lara put that last assessment behind her and be able to work more productively and effectively on what she had on her agenda next. And I sat and thought for a moment, because I think what they wanted or thought that they needed was some sort of mindset hack or some sort of mental strength exercise to be able to compartmentalize things better or have some sort of strategy for better focus. And I really did take a few moments before replying here, because although I like to think I do have a few good ways to use and improve my own mindset and maybe pass some of these little tips and things along to students where I can, it's certainly not my area of expertise. And B, from my experience with students and study for almost 20 years now, that's like just trying to put a bit of a Band-Aid on a wound. And that wound being that disappointing result. It's like we're trying to find a way to ignore it or push it aside or just blank it out. And I just don't think that's very helpful. Well, it can be maybe if there is no alternative, but I want to provide that alternative, something that actually does solve things at the root cause, if you like. Because I'm a big fan of solving the root cause, whether it's the root cause of procrastination or the root cause of those disappointing results, or in this case, a lack of focus, maybe a lack of motivation. And what I've found, the root cause is really solved with a tangible strategy, an actionable system, some actual real understanding of what is going on. It's not just about getting some momentary motivation or a bit of a mindset hack. Because here's what I was guessing was probably going on for Lara. And it's possibly happening for your teen as well, if they're in this sort of situation. I think it would for any of us, to be honest. Because if Lara had had a disappointing result, then that implies that either she thought she'd done well, but then hadn't, which really just leads to confusion. Or perhaps she had struggled with the task. She knew it was a bit of a, what I would call guess and hope situation. And she hoped that it might work out okay, but it didn't. So that just reinforces that uncertainty that was already there. You weren't really sure of what you were doing, and now that proves you didn't really know what you were doing. And either way, each of those is going to create a sense of doubt about whatever it is that you need to work on next. So maybe Lara actually was feeling confident about this next task originally, but now that's tainted with the fact that she felt confident last time, and look how it worked out. Or maybe there's a bit of uncertainty already with this next task, and this is just going to confirm that that uncertainty is indeed a problem, and we can't just use the guess and hope strategy. It's not a strategy, by the way. The guess and hope dream that it's going to be okay because look how that worked out. So we talked a little bit about that, and Lara agreed that it was that first situation of having thought she'd done well, but then the result didn't match what she thought it was going to be. So that has now not only dented her confidence, but in terms of being able to get on with the next task, it means that even if she was feeling confident with how to tackle it and what to do, the experience with that other task will now have planted a seed of doubt. She'll be feeling maybe uncertain instead of confident because she thought she was confident on the last one. And that means she's going to start questioning things like, well, I thought I knew what to do, but what if that isn't what I need to do? What if I'm not right? What if I put in all of this time and effort and then this comes back with a disappointing result as well? And so, yes, we could try to brush those thoughts under the carpet and just try and plow on. But actually, they're really valid points, aren't they? There's a decent chance that if she puts in all the time and effort and thought she was doing the right thing, that the same thing could happen again. She could do everything she thinks is right, and actually it isn't quite what was being asked or isn't actually hitting the criteria. So I think really it's a very good thing that Lara is pausing to question these things. But it's only a good thing if she can then get the answers. Otherwise, she's just stuck in the questioning and the doubt, which is where Lara was getting stuck previously and where her mum was then concerned. Because when I say we're pausing to question things, what that actually looks like when there's no guidance or way forward from that is it ends up just looking like or feeling like a lack of focus or some form of procrastination. So I would recommend that instead of trying to plow on regardless, carrying that doubt and uncertainty along for the ride and just sort of powering through, potentially knowing that same thing's going to happen again, that we actually take a moment and shine a spotlight back on that previous task. I recommend figuring out why that disappointing result happened, what was missed, what went wrong, where didn't certain criteria get met, and importantly, why. This is why we have personal coaching in both of my programs. Students can come to 3 live group coaching calls in the 10-week Grade Transformation program to get personal help with any aspect of their study. And beyond that, we have weekly group coaching and private coaching and Ask Katie 24/7 available to next level members so that they can have expert help to get them moving forwards, keep them moving upwards whenever they need or want it. And it's for exactly situations like this that Lara's mum is talking about. Because in the coaching, we will dig into the question or the task instructions and the mark scheme and the success criteria and the student's response that they wrote in order to figure all of this out. To figure out not specifically what they should have written differently in that task, because they are never going to have to answer that exact question or have that exact assessment given ever again. And I think that is one of the reasons why students sometimes feel reluctant or that it's a waste of time to go back over these things. But if we can figure out what was going on conceptually, strategically, and then identify the systems and strategies that they need to use to get things on track in the right way the next time with whatever task is next. If they can figure out where did they go wrong with dissecting the question and what strategy or steps will mean that they do get it right next time, where did they miss an element or a criteria point, what techniques do they need to use when doing this for a different task, and have this as training so they can do all of this for themselves, then they or we together can figure out getting on the exact right track and having everything mapped out for the next task. But unless Lara or your teen knows exactly how to do things differently to create a different outcome in their next task, then I would absolutely not blame them for letting the previous one overshadow it or distract them from it. Because until we get a light shone on it and expose the issues and understand the issues and then have the strategies and steps and clarity on why they happened and how to improve, then I don't really want them moving forwards until they do have those things. Otherwise, there is a high chance that the same thing is going to happen again. And as we all know, when that happens more than just once or twice, then things can really start to go downhill. Your teen's confidence gets dented, their motivation gets lost, their aspirations become lower. Maybe their work ethic decreases because those "what's the point" type of thoughts start to creep in. And just trying to switch those off or paper over them or magically turn them into rainbows and unicorn thoughts not only won't last or really stick, but there's actually nothing concrete there to stop any of this happening again. So I would urge you and your teen to not sweep anything under the carpet and just try to compartmentalize it or just plow on. Because from all of my experience, the best and real motivation comes from when we understand exactly where previous things might have gone wrong, and importantly, know exactly what to do and how to do things differently next time so that we are more reliably creating the new results that we're after. There is nothing like having a clear path with clear steps that you not only know what they are, but you also have a full understanding of why they are there and how they work to create real, genuine motivation. If your teen knows how they need to tie the wording of the task or question to exactly how they're going to meet the criteria that they're going to be marked against, that's what creates confidence with substance. And sometimes even a little bit of excitement to get into it as well. And seeing that happen for students is one of my absolute favorite things about my job. And I know it's one of the things that students and their parents love telling me about when it happens for them as well. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope that nothing from term 1 gets swept back under a carpet and we just try and plow on with term 2. If you'd like any help with trying to figure any of this out for your teen, just email support@rocksolidstudy.com and we'll do our very best to help you. And I will see you back here next week for another episode. Take care. Bye. If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week Grade Transformation Program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program and I'll see you there.